Hey there, welcome to What's New in Erwin Data Modeler 21R1, the latest release of our industry-leading data modeling solution. For those of you that are not aware, data transformation is well underway. We just recently did a piece of research on the state of data governance and had some really eye-opening figures here that I thought were a great way to sort of open up this topic. First off, we always talk about what organizations need from their data, how they perceive their data, the things they're trying to do with their data. But this really kind of breaks it down into a great set of numbers that really show how important data is to the organization. So when you look at the question, please rate your level of agreement with these following statements. 84% of people are realizing that data represents the best opportunity for their organization to be competitive and to be successful moving forward in this dynamic business environment in which we live. And 75% of them think that if they don't get their data house in order, that they are at risk of being disrupted by the competition who are doing very much the same thing. And when you look at it, to make the most of their data, they're realizing that they need to improve all aspects of their data capability throughout the entire life cycle, DevOps, their ability to understand and leverage data, but also their ability to protect that data as well. Now, if we look at the state of data today in organizations, I'll reference an IDC study as well as Gartner studies here, where we see that 95% of organizations have at least six different types of data that they're managing across 10 different types of data management technologies. And that's across a wide range of organizations and industries. So those numbers go up as you get into large, complex organizations. And 94% of them are doing that across some sort of hybrid environment where they have some amount of on-premise solutions as well as solutions out in those cloud environments. And sadly, 85% of the time that their data native workers are spending is still on finding and preparing and understanding data, and 15% of that in terms of actually delivering value to the business. And then finally, Gartner recognizes that 50% of the organizations out there lack the sufficient AI and data literacy skills to really fully achieve the maximum business value that they want from their data. So this is the environment in which we live in, and this is in the environment in which we need to find solutions that are going to help us, again, across all aspects of our data capability throughout the entire life cycle, making sure that we don't just have things like governance in place, but that the mechanisms that create and define and deploy new data can handle those, that wide-ranging environment and all of the capabilities behind making the most of that environment. So with that, we'll take a look at Erwin Data Modeler. As I said, it's an industry standard, industry-leading solution where we have all of the capabilities that you need from a data modeling perspective, so that you can get the most and optimize your database design, documentation, metadata management, data intelligence, and governance. This is a combination of tools that starts with our data modeling tool, where you can do conceptual, logical, and physical models for all of the databases out there, including big data, NoSQL, cloud databases. It comes in a repository-based edition that allows data modelers to collaborate very, very effectively together and integrate well into an agile approach to development and DevOps. That's called our Workgroup Edition. We have a web portal that allows you to publish all of the good work that they do in this environment out to all of the stakeholders that would want to be able to see and understand that. And then, of course, we have other tools that allow us to get into a deep understanding of the structures and metadata behind all of the major, common off-the-shelf solutions like SAP, all of the Oracle solutions, Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics. So all in one solution, you have your capability to start visually modeling documenting, and then actually deploying data sources out into your environment using this solution. So getting to what's new in 21R1, it's a fairly major release where we've brought some significant capabilities to really expand the reach of Erwin Data Modeler across your organization. Very, very important is our new native modeling and engineering support for NoSQL databases, Couchbase, MongoDB, Cassandra, as well as JSON and Avro data sources. So now you can model those in the same solution as you do all of your traditional relational databases, your big data sources, things like that. We've included Data Vault 2.0 modeling support for data warehouse modernization and agility. So Data Vault is an approach to creating a much more agile aggregation layer for all of your data to support all of your BI and analytics. Built into the tool now, we have more guided denormalization that helps you move from the design paradigm of, say, a relational or entity relational diagram out into document-based databases, because it is very much a different type of modeling, and the tool will support you moving between those design paradigms. We've updated support for some of the traditional databases that we have there, so now support for the latest versions of Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, as well as Microsoft's Azure environment with Azure SQL and Azure SQL Synapse. We've included, more JDBC connectivity for a number of different solutions to have more capability and easier access to those when they're sitting out in the cloud. We've really done a great job of enhancing the interface to administer that collaborative workgroup data modeling governance solution that's called the Workgroup Edition. So it makes it much easier for you to access those models and to administer that environment and built-in automation behind that. And then, of course, more automation, enhanced user interfaces, and workflow optimization to really make sure that your data modelers are as productive as possible as they work with different teams in terms of defining new data and deploying that out for use across the enterprise. So with our support for Couchbase, MongoDB, Cassandra, and as I said, JSON and Avro, now we have a very, very broad range of support for all the databases that are important in your environment. And whether they sit on the cloud or whether they're on prem, it really doesn't matter. You can now model for those things, create a much better design, and then leveraging the round-trip engineering support within the tool to forward and reverse engineer those instances to and from models, so that you can take very much a model-driven approach to developing your databases and maintaining them over time. We also have the widest range of data model integration capabilities, where you can share these data models with all of your BI, data movement, and other environments that are out there, as well as bring in metadata from those environments and leverage our visual modeling environment to optimize those things and make sure that you have all of that good information shared across your entire data estate. Now, with our support for those NoSQL databases, we've also added a new diagramming paradigm. So when you use or target a database like Couchbase or Cassandra or MongoDB, in the physical model, instead of getting an entity relationship diagram, you'll now get that NoSQL visualization, which is a document type depiction with embedded document objects, arrays underneath that. And again, we provide all of the denormalization support that allow you to get to that, because not all of your teams may be familiar with modeling in that environment, or how to move a traditional logical model that's relational in nature into something that can be deployed effectively in these environments to optimize your ability to query and provide that real-time capability that those databases supply to organizations. So very, very powerful capability. And again, in the same tool as you would be modeling your traditional Oracle, SQL Server, and other relational databases as well. Now, we've always supported dimensional modeling for data warehouses, for data marts. We've extended that now with full Data Vault 2.0 support. So again, Data Vault is a methodology by which you can make your data warehouse or your aggregation layer for your data much more agile, much more scalable and flexible. Really, it allows you to change today without having to go back and historically refit everything back structurally, because the structure itself will maintain those links. So all of the different kinds of capabilities you would expect to see in Data Vault 2.0, hubs, links, satellite, bridges, point in time, and reference are all now supported. And if you look at it, you can see now the data model is there. It has all of that documentation behind it. You can set up coloring schemes so that your Data Vault models are very easy to understand, where you have standard colorization and visual cues for all of the different types of constructs that exist in Data Vault 2.0. And of course, you can forward and reverse engineer these models as well. And this can become an important part of your overall Data Vault automation, which Erwin from Quest offers through our data intelligence solution. So something to keep in mind. It's a very, very powerful capability to get that right architecture to realize the value that Data Vault can provide for your organization. Improved database support. Again, in terms of relational databases, we have these targets that we've moved forward. Snowflake is including now our Okta authentication support, which is very important in terms of maintaining the access control and security around that cloud-based environment. And of course, full support for these versions of MongoDB, Cassandra, and Couchbase. In terms of productivity for the end user, lots of great stuff into the UI, and we're always moving our UI forward. And the majority of this is based on real end user experience. So we have a large and very active community that's always providing feedback in terms of how the tool can do things better and can support their workflows more effectively. And generally, most of the things that we put into the tool are optional and configurable in terms of you can set it up to work the way that you want. So first thing we did was we built a new welcome page that has a lot of common modeling tasks. So if you're going right to reverse engineering databases, instead of having to get into the UI, you can do that from the welcome screen. It'll have your recently used models. So all of the things that you would expect to see in an initial screen so that you can get to work faster. We have a dynamic property pane and graphical object counts so that you can always see how many objects are in the model, what types of objects, how that's broken down, and then be able to actually see, as you're navigating the graphical model, the properties that are behind the different objects in that model that you can actually edit on screen. So again, dynamically navigate the model, make edits, and see those edits come up as you navigate the model. A configurable object browser. So if you want to see a larger picture of the different objects and the details behind that, you can set what things you would like to see in this browser and pin that browser so that you can always get there and edit and manipulate those objects through. We've added 2 more features: complete compare and report execution through our API, so that you can offload some of that work. So not something that requires the actual user to be there on the tool. You can start to do that along with your reverse engineering and your forward engineering, and do that in the background and let the API execute those tasks, and then you can deal with the results when you get back to work the next day. And we've also enhanced our reverse engineering wizard to provide many more filtering options, so that when you reverse engineer a database, you don't have to take the whole thing and then filter it out. You can actually filter it in advance and make that reverse engineering much more dynamic, much more useful to the tasks that you have at hand, and obviously much better from a performance perspective. And then we've also improved and enhanced our forward engineering wizard so that you have much more of a capability to preview, to see what it is that you're going to generate before you actually generate that out into script or connect to the database and deploy that as schema. We've improved our ability to load very large models. We have the best support in the industry for very large models. Many other tools make you break these models down and then try to connect the dots, individually. We can handle very large models, and we can load those very, very quickly, as well as new enhancements to our scheduling of offline events, as well as more capabilities around reporting in terms of the visualizations and the contents that exist within those models. And then finally, as I said, our Data Modeler Workgroup Edition is a repository-based solution that has a number of data governance capabilities to control the models, make sure that you have detailed versions, change logs, auditability, traceability throughout the life cycle of that model, as well as the ability to allow modelers to access the models that they need collaboratively, work on them simultaneously, and have the solution deal with any conflicts that may arise from that approach, making you much more agile in terms of being able to get the changes into those models that you need and deployed out into your environment. As well, improved LDAP support. We've rewritten the entire, administration user interface based on Google's material design principles. So now you have a lot of great usage dashboards, the ability to really see and understand profiles and permissions, and enhance the harvesting of information within our data modeling repository out to our data intelligence solution for the wider automation and data governance capabilities that it delivers. So very, very powerful, reducing the amount of time that's required for you to administer this environment and to really understand how this environment's configured so that you can make it what you need it to be to support your business. So when you think about that and the capabilities that have been brought into 21R1, we keep building on this long-standing value proposition that we've delivered in data modeling, which is elevating the business value and the impact of that data modeling process across the enterprise. Whether it's through our modern productivity enhancing user interface for all of the types of modeling that you would want to do, integrating NoSQL and cloud databases into the larger picture so that you have one place to do all of your design, documentation, and deployment. We have the most comprehensive model compare and synchronization capabilities, as well as design layer support, which really allows you to be much more agile and take a model-driven approach to developing data sources in your organization, and to support that, lots of support for design standardization and reuse. So we have model templates that you can attach to your models, where you set your standards, whether it's naming standards, data type standards, metadata documentation standards, so that you can reuse those and ensure that all of your models are consistent and have that rich information that's so important to the wide range of stakeholders out there. Our Workgroup Edition is the industry-leading modeler collaboration environment and provides deep governance around data definition and database design. We have unparalleled data model integration and reuse, where not only can we share your data models to all those environments that I talked about before, but also we are the data modeling format of choice for all of the third-party providers of industry vertical data models, whether it's enterprise models, data warehouse models, so that you can pull those best practices in, and then share that throughout throughout your database estate, if you will, through the data model. And of course, very, very important is that ability to start to integrate semantics into your model. One of the biggest providers of this is the new Microsoft Common Data Model. You can have a visual model of the CDM in your Erwin data modeling environment, and then use those compare, standardization, and reuse capabilities to push those semantics out to all of your specific database deployments, no matter what technology, allowing people to better understand what those databases hold, what it represents from a business perspective, and really increase the literacy in your overall organization, thus increasing the capability that you have to leverage your data. So with that, thanks a lot for taking the time. Please visit us at erwin.com, soon to be on quest.com, and get yourself a trial copy of Erwin Data Modeler so that you can see all of the new capabilities and all of the ways that we can help you be much more successful leveraging your data for the benefit of the business. Thank you very much and have yourself a great day.